Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and today I'm here to unbox the PlayStation 5. Specifically, the PlayStation 5 Slim version that comes with a copy of Astrobot. So originally, the PlayStation 5 released back in the holiday season of 2020. This here is a revision of the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 5 Slim, which came out in November of 2023. So this was 3 years later after the console released. The body is slightly different and you have a little extra storage. This one specifically has 1 terabyte of internal storage. So this is definitely the better of the 2 different versions of the standard PlayStation 5 to get. There's like 3 different SKUs of this console, so it's a little confusing to keep up with nowadays. But I have in front of me the base PlayStation 5 Slim version that has the disk drive, which in my opinion is the one to get. And as you can see, we got a copy of Astrobot here. Although the fine print does say that this is a digital code, it is not a disc in the box, so this is just a download copy of the game, but this is perfectly fine. Again, we have a little more storage with this version of the PS5, so I'm perfectly content with that. You can see a lot of other specs here on the box. You can see the system can do 4K, upwards of 120 frames per second. It supports HDR, so it's all the standard specs you see nowadays on modern hardware. If you turn the box around to the side, you will see on the side the system standing up along with its controller and a copy of Astrobot, or at least what you'll be seeing in the box with the said voucher. If we turn to the said back here, we have a little bit of a sneak peek of all the stuff included in the game of Astrobot, with all of the different Astrobot character skins on the very top of the box, and then some screenshots of what you can find in the game itself. And you can also see here we have the PlayStation 5 on its side, so instead of standing up vertically, here they are showing its horizontal setup. And then once again, nice little picture of controller. Got a little description here of just some trademark stuff from Sony of like, play like never before. You know, just their slogans they've been using these past few years with the PlayStation branding. Got some, again, little snippets of stuff that they are wanting to advertise with the PlayStation 5, like the lightning speed, breathtaking immersion, and stunning games. So you take that stuff as you will. It's more marketing terms, but it's still nice to see some description. And down on the side here, it's just the Astrobot logo and the Sony PlayStation 5 logo. So nothing very significant, but you do see down here, it does say 1 terabyte, so you know how much storage is in the actual system. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this opened. So we got a flap here on the top, and then there's also a flap on the bottom, but this box is more designed to be opened from the top here, so that is what I'm going to be doing. So thankfully the seal you can just get underneath and it just comes apart pretty easily. So go ahead and open it up, and this is a situation where this is a box inside of a box. So to make this easier, you lay down this one on the side, and then from here we just slide this out, which is a little cumbersome to do, I will admit, but to be fair, it'd probably be easier if I wasn't doing this on a camera. There we go. This outside sleeve is now off. Honestly, it was a little more annoying to get off than I would have preferred, as the bottom flat piece does like coming apart, so a little bit easier to just slide the internal box out than trying to pull it. And then from here, we got a little flap up on this corner, so I want to just take that up. And from here, this flap opens up, so now I'm gonna lay it down just like so. And with that, we are now inside. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. For one, immediately just get this one out of the way. You got a quick start guide here for the PlayStation 5. Whole bunch of different languages, but it does get you started understanding how the menus work, how to plug up the system, all that good stuff. I'm gonna put that aside. Then from here, we have ourselves the main attraction right on the top, which is just the console. So we want to slide this out. We will come back to the console in just 1 minute. For now, let's take a look at the other things around it. Like for starters here, another manual. This time around, it's the safety guide manual. So more paperwork again, multiple different languages, health and safety warnings if you're needing to read this kind of stuff for yourself or for your children if you're buying this for your kids. You know, standard legal manual stuff that every company has to give you for their said products. And then from here, we have ourselves the game itself, Astrobot, the full game download right here on this little piece of paper. On the back, you have to scratch this part for your code, which, as you would imagine, I'm not going to be doing it on camera, but you scratch this little film off, it will reveal your download code, which then you can take this said copy of Astrobot and redeem that said game to put into your PlayStation account and play on your console. So, there you go. We still have more in the box, as there is another flap down here, which is kind of receded into the box. So it's going to take a little bit more work to grab this part. And opening up that said flap reveals a whole bunch of stuff in the bottom here, which will be your controller and your hookup wires. So for starters, to get that one out of the way, here we got a HDMI cable, standard old kind of HDMI here. Nothing really too fancy about it. Not even seeing any PlayStation branding on the cable, which is interesting to note because Sony systems, I would imagine, would have the same branding like Nintendo does with their HDMIs, and same for Microsoft even. It's just your standard HDMI cable, which can support all the specs from the PlayStation 5, so presumably this has got to be an HDMI 2.0 cable at the very least for a 4K, 60 frames, and also that HDR goodness. Then here, we got ourselves a USB-C to C cable here. So here's the one end on the left side, here's the other end. So C to C, this is how you plug in your controller to use wired, and also how you would charge it when it eventually dies. Now we got ourselves in the bag the controller itself. So here is the PlayStation 5 controller. Honestly, it's a really nice design for a controller. I do like how the black and the white complement each other. It is very, very... There we go. I was waiting for the camera to focus. It's very good for standing out specifically. Not to mention, in general, the shine on the buttons. It does stand out without being too glossy. And the sticks are very nice, rubberized feeling. Trackpad feels very, very solid. It's a nice upgrade compared to the PlayStation 4 DualShock controller. This one definitely feels a lot more robust. It's bigger in the hands, and I would say overall this is an improvement. Even got a headphone jack here. Well, actually, that's not a headphone jack, that's actually the microphone this time. As originally there was just a headphone jack down here for older controllers, like with the PlayStation 4. But this time around there's a mic built into the system, and this here would be your toggle button to mute and unmute. So just having the mic immediately built in the controller, in some ways, is actually a nice improvement compared to old controllers, because now you don't have to buy a headset to talk to people. I wouldn't rely on this for voice chat too much, but it is still nice to have some kind of microphone immediately out of the box. But that is it for the said controller. Again, I'm going to put that aside. And from here, I want to make sure there's nothing left here in this said package. Oh, no, we still have another surprise. A couple different surprises, actually. So I'll get to these little pieces I was just messing with in a minute. For now, I do want to show the last little bit of wiring here. Here's your power plug. It's your standard kind of power outlet here for North America. Thankfully, it's one of these kind of power plugs where it's just plugging into the back of the system, which tells me it has an internal power supply, making it so if this cable ever fails, this is very, very easy to replace. I have like a dozen of these types of power plugs all throughout my house. So this is very nice to see. It's a standard kind of power cord that's very easy to replace on your own. So this is nice. Now finally, this was the other thing I heard rattling around, in the bottom of the box. These are little plastic pieces, which don't really seem like all too much at first, but this will be how you use the system standing up. So, little vertical stand here with these little plastic pieces. But there you go. That is all of the stuff that was in the internal box here. So at this point, we should move the box out of the way, get the rest of the cables out of here, because now it's console time. This here is the PlayStation 5 Slim with the disk drive. Let's go ahead and release it from its eggshell container. So I'm just going to take our little pieces of styrofoam here, move those away, take out the system from the wrappage. And there is your PlayStation 5. I do say the Slim version, it looks a little more funky compared to the original when the disk drive is on the side, because now it just has this bump, which is a little comical looking, I will admit. But still, the fact that this has a disk drive is very, very important to me. As someone with a massive library of physical games, this is the system to get, in my opinion. The digital SKU, you can add a disk drive later, thankfully, with the PlayStation 5, but it does cost more in the long run to go the digital only route, and even just to add a disk drive later, as it will cost you an additional $80. And mind you, the PlayStation 5 retails for about $500 USD with the disk drive included, $450 without the disk drive. So the system's already pretty expensive as it is, the PlayStation 5 Pro being around $700 USD, not including a disk drive makes it a lot more expensive, hence why I was opting for the PlayStation 5 Slim. Oh man. World events really find a way to make these videos that I film outdated in the funniest ways possible, but also, in this regard, a pretty depressing way. So, this unboxing video you're watching of me going through all the stuff that comes with this version of the PlayStation 5 Slim. This video was filmed back in May of this year, so May 3rd, 2025. This was not too long after I picked up an Xbox Series X, after Microsoft increased the prices of the Xbox Series system, so I got one of those consoles before the price increase. And I was happy to do so, because there was no way I wanted to pay an extra $100 for an already pretty pricey game console. And at the time of filming this unboxing video, this version of the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 5 Slim with the disk drive, retailed for $500 USD. But now, as the time of you watching this unboxing video, Sony is raising the prices of the PlayStation 5 here in the US. So this information I said about the pricing is now outdated. Every version of the PlayStation 5 here has gone up $50 each. So this PlayStation 5 I'm unboxing now is retailing for $549.99 instead of $499.99. Glad I picked up a PlayStation 5 when I did, because now the PlayStation 5 was the last of the three consoles to have gotten affected by some kind of a price increase due to market conditions. The Xbox Series systems, PlayStation 5, and the Nintendo Switch are now all more expensive than they were just a few months ago at the time of filming this unboxing video. It's not a fun timeline we live in right now, but I wanted to clarify this information that at the time of filming that unboxing was accurate in terms of the PlayStation 5 pricing. Now, those prices are $50 more, so it's a good thing I got the system when I did. But let's just go ahead and resume this unboxing. Again, you can see that bump. It is a little large, I will admit, but I do like the little added detail down here on the disk drive. well, you see little PlayStation buttons down here. So there's all the PlayStation symbols. Triangle, circle, X, and square. It's nice looking. If you turn around the back here, we can see here's our connector ports. So we have ourselves a total of 4 USBs on the system. 2 in the back here are USB-A's, and then the 2 in the front are USB-C ports. So a total of 4 USBs as a whole. Actually a really nice set of inputs on the system as a whole. We got ourselves our Ethernet jack here for a wired internet connection, the HDMI, and also power in. So pretty standard stuff, and then this is just a little protective piece of film to make sure the system doesn't come apart in shipping. As this here, if you can take a good look, see a little bit of wiggle there? That is because you can take off the faceplate of the PlayStation 5 and swap it out for something entirely different. So this little piece of tape here, this blue tape, very important for shipping purposes, as to make sure the system doesn't come apart in shipping, which now, since it safely arrived at my doorstep, we can take that off and reveal all the glorious ports and free that HDMI from its tape prison. So there you go. That is the PlayStation 5. Now we just get that little controller back in here to complete the image. And there you go, marketing shot. So that is it for this unboxing video of the PlayStation 5. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, got a good look at what comes in the box with the PlayStation 5 Slim disc version that has a copy of Astro Bot. A little bit of a mouthful, but easiest way to tell this SKU apart from the many different versions of the PlayStation 5 you can buy out there in the market. But with that said, that's going to do it for this video. If you want to see a more in-depth look at my overall impressions here of the PlayStation 5, there will be a follow-up video to this unboxing, so definitely check that video out once it's live. But with that said, that's going to do it for this said video. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.